and welcome to the Mental Margarita Show.
All right, I like that name.
Might have
It's
to
time.
try one of those.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you. So, Owner Platinum Garage, Gina Glass, Preston Glass, musical royalty. This is like the royal family right here.
Aw.
I mean, it's amazing. Endless hits. Worked and wrote for Whitney Houston, Mays, Aretha Franklin, Cyndi Lauper. Wow. I mean, the list goes on and on. And it's just phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Mace. Mace, you know, the rapper that started with P. Diddy. That's who that is.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So you guys feeling good today?
Absolutely.
Great.
Weather's beautiful here in LA.
Oh, guys, I love LA. Love it so much. So tell me about it now. So let's go back. We'll start with you, Gina. How was your start getting into the music business? Because I've read that you hung around Sly and the Family Stone and Larry Graham. You had those kind of guys around you, all that energy. So how did it start for you?
Well, when I was 9 years old, my sister started working around with Graham Central Station. And even before that, my family had been around the music industry. And just so happened that her and Larry Graham hooked up and got married. So that was my first taste of being a kid in the recording studio in Sausalito at the record plant, and going to all the gigs and all of that at a very young age in Oakland, California. And then I met my honey at the record plant in Sausalito, where we met, and we got married 3 weeks after we met, and then I became his business manager.
Wow, is that something else?
Yeah. So
love at first sight. Love at first sight. And so Preston, here you are doing your thing. Tell me a bit about you. So you were starting out, was the music something that was always in your blood or what?
Yeah, it was a gift. I started writing songs when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and playing guitar. Then I learned how to read music, and I started playing keyboards. And right around the age of 12, I started sending my music out to different publishers and stuff. I knew early on that I wanted to be a songwriter, producer, mainly a songwriter. I didn't really have the desire to be a singer or artist, because I always would look at the records. You know what those are?
Oh yeah. Oh, believe me, I know what they are. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I would look at it and I'd see, of course, you had the main artist's name right there, but then there would be some names in parentheses, and that would be the songwriter. And I remember asking my dad, "Who are those people mentioned in the parentheses?" He said, "That's the songwriter, and they make the money." And I said,
That is so true. They definitely do make the money. And so, speaking of money, I mean, you were on the money because as time progresses, I mean, you've done some hits, or should I say, you've done many hits. We got 30 top 10 R&B hits. Has that number gone up?
Yeah, it's gone up a little bit more, and the industry's changed, because now, back then it was only Billboard or Cashbox,
Yeah,
the charts. Now you got hundreds of different charts and all over the world. So I've had stuff that was like number one on maybe the UK chart, but didn't even enter the Billboard chart, because it's just the way the industry is now. But to answer that question, yeah, by those standards, yeah, there's been many dozen hits. But,
that's something else. That's something else. 5 top 10 pop hits.
Yeah,
one thing that I love about you is that you're very versatile.
Thank you.
As far as the artists you worked with,
that happened, I think, naturally or organically, like people say, because I personally like all different kinds of music. I think I got that from my upbringing as a what they call an army brat. My dad was in the army for 20 years.
Okay.
So wherever he would be, that would be the music I would latch on to. You know, sometimes we live in an area where you only hear pop music, or sometimes I live in an area and it's all soul music. Sometimes it'd be an area of all country music. And so whatever's on the was on the radio, you know what that is? No, I'm just kidding. You know, it got all different mechanisms now, but so I attribute my love of different kinds of music to my upbringing.
You know, that's real interesting because I can relate. You know, me growing up, I went to a private school, you know, and even though I lived in a very bad area at one point, you know, in my life, but I went to a private school, so I was around kids of different ethnicities, you know, and so one minute I'm listening to, it could be Bon Jovi, you know, the next minute I was listening to Billy Joel and Huey Lewis in the News. Then it was Frankie Beverly and Maze. It was
Yeah, I think
so
that
eclectic.
not only helped me with the love of different kind of music, but you know, you're as a producer, especially, you're working in the studio with all different kinds of musicians and different kinds of people, different nationalities, different backgrounds, young, old, white, black, you know. And if you're the producer, you're in charge of those sessions, so you have to be able to communicate to anybody.
Right. That's so true.
That's
And speaking of communicating, so Gina,
Yeah.
you had to be a great communicator as well because now this is your new love, this is your husband now, and you guys are going through this crazy business. Now, what were some of the things that you had to do from the management side to keep it all together, to keep the communication between you guys the way that you guys wanted it to be, for it to be solidified and strong?
Well, first of all, they don't want to piss the wife off and manager because then therefore they're not going to work with them. You know, so what I do is I negotiate his contracts. I'm very fair. I normally don't come out of myself with people, you know, and it makes it pretty easy because we're a team and we work together. And sometimes if he feels it's something that he wants to do that I feel that maybe isn't good for him and he wants to do it, he's the head of the household. So I say, go ahead, you can have it. You know, so we keep a balance that way and never just letting the business drive us crazy, but
Right.
bounce off of each other. And I respect, you know, what he has to say and what he wants to do because he's the music man. I'm just the wife on the side that knows the business and the publishing side of it as well as him. And he's basically taught me everything I knew about the business because I came in very raw. I had just been around the industry and, you know, concerts and having fun and all that type of thing. But when he said, look, I need you to be my manager, you're the only one I can trust, I was really against it a little bit. I'm like, you know, I'm loving just throwing the dinner parties and, you know, and keeping the house clean and being the wife. And he goes, no, you got to do more. So I finally stopped fighting him. I said, okay, just teach me everything you know, and we'll go
and
through it
there
together.
there was a good observation of me with her, not just because she was my wife, but and of course the trust issue, but I noticed she has good instincts about things, you know, when she's dealing with people especially. But so that has played out in, you know, over 30 going on 39 years of marriage, and then she's managed me for about 37. And
Wow.
so I think I was correct in assuming, okay, she knows how to deal with people, and that's really what the music business is especially on a longevity business. No matter how the industry changed as much as it is, you still have to deal with people, and if you're going to be
Right.
around a long time, you have to know how to do that.
Yeah, that's really important. And now, so Gina, you've been on plenty of industry panels and consulting boards and things of that nature. What are some of the things that for a young viewer, someone that's getting into the industry, what are some of the things that they need to focus on?
Well, I tell them, first of all, learn the business. You know, your craft is fine, or have somebody that's really in your corner, your parents or whatever, you know, to have your back and listen to them and really learn what the music industry is about, instead of just your songwriting or your singing and getting out there and being on tour, because all of that has a whole lot of little bitty pieces in between it that if you don't learn some of that stuff, you could get taken advantage of really, really, really fast.
Wow.
We've been through things in the industry where we've learned and we've made some, pitfalls, but it helped us to never make that mistake again. But it's all about learning. And then Preston taught at San Francisco State and UCLA songwriting in the music business.
Right, that's right.
Which was a 4-hour class. It was so wonderful because he would have different artists come in and speak, like Maurice White and who else? Al Jarreau. Who else?
Legends.
Right, who was Stevie Wonder's wife. A lot of different people. Leon Ware, late great Leon Ware.
Yes.
And yourself.
Well, that was by default. Okay, when somebody wouldn't show up, he'd be like, "Baby," and I'd be like, "Really? I have to speak in front of all these, kids," and I get so nervous, and I'd be like, "Okay, let me just pray for a minute."
And then at times I had a couple of students that were, because it was an extension course, so not just young people, anybody could take the class. And so a couple of times I've had #1 recording artist be the student, and I recognize their name on the list. I'd say, "Oh, you're so and so from so and so group," and they'd be, "Yeah, the reason I took this class, even though I had a #1 hit, I didn't write the song, and so I didn't make much money. So I'm here to learn how to write something."
Wow, is that something? Yeah. Because publishing is where it's at, guys.
Oh, well, yeah. And most artists don't write their songs. I mean, they're starting to do it now.
Yeah.
But they didn't write their songs. So the way they made money was definitely going on tour. That was their money pocket, And then they had to be careful about how many people they took out and what they had on the tour, because then you'll owe all that, you owe all that money back, and then you come back and you got these hits out here, but you're broke.
Yeah. And that's a sad thing, to be famous and broke.
Yeah, and it happens more than you think.
Yeah, it's not a good combination at all.
Exactly.
Now, when you look at songwriting, is there any time, Preston, where you're like you've gotten writer's block, and how did you deal with that?
No, I've never gotten writer's block myself. I know it's a gift, but
whoa!
With me, I think it's because early on it was like a discipline. Like there was a time, maybe age 9, 10, 11, I would write a song a day. So it was like homework at school. If I didn't do it,
right,
I would punish myself. Like, I gotta write a song a day. I don't do that anymore, but
he writes multiple songs a day. I mean, this dude is always like, before we had the cell phones, it would be pieces of paper, napkin.
All the answer machine, you couldn't have cell phones, so you had to find a way to record your.
Well, the way he wrote the song, "You Don't Have to Take Your Clothes Off" for Jermaine Stewart, it was 4:00 in the morning, and we had a walk-in closet. He had a little keyboard in there, and he woke me up, and I'm like, "Why are you waking me up?" He said, "I got this idea for Jermaine. It's gonna call You Don't Have to Get Naked." I said, "Oh no, you got to change that." I said, "You have a clean thing going here with the people, so you got to change that lyric up." I said it, and then he came back with "You Don't Have to Take Your Clothes Off." I said, "Boom, that's bad, baby. That's a hit."
That's it now.
And so he wrote it in the closet at 4:00 in the morning. So when his brain gets to moving, and he's always got a piece of paper and pen by his bed or wherever he sits in the living room, but now with the phone, so he's got that.
And I can't turn it off. Like
never.
You said something earlier yourself, Mr. Guy Cat. You said famous and broke. That's not a good combination. I said, famous.
See, he go write a song about it.
Like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm a hip hop artist. Look.
Yes. I could sense that.
We might have to do a collaboration.
There we go.
That is so cool. So now let's look. Okay, so the publishing house is still Permanent Groove Music?
Yeah, we have a few different ones. And all our publishing companies have the initial PG, so Permanent Groove, which is my initials, Preston.
Permanent Group, right?
Our main company is Platinum Garage, and that's also the name of our record company, Platinum Garage Recordings.
I love it. I love that name. Love it.
Smaller company called Perpetual Gold. So a lot of these people might say, why do you have all these? Well, sometimes we'll start one and then sell it off. Or sometimes if we keep it, like for instance, I am a BMI writer. You can't be a BMI and ASCAP writer, but you can be a BMI and ASCAP publisher. So BMI Publishing is Platinum Garage, and then she owns the ASCAP company, Permanent Groove.
Ah.
So and the reason why we have both is because sometimes we'll meet a writer that we really think is great, and we want to take them on as a protege, but they're an ASCAP writer, so we can have them come under that company.
That is really, really smart. And for the viewers, this is something that you guys gotta, you gotta listen to, because this is golden. This stuff that they're saying is golden. Now, what's the overall vision for Platinum Garage? What is the overall vision?
Well, Platinum Garage, as a record company, because it is a company that we have that is co-run by my music business partner, David Nathan, out of England, who's known as the British Ambassador of Soul. We've had a label that is distributed through Warner X, part of the Warner Music Group. And we've had it for almost 6 years now. And in these 6 years, we've released product every 6 weeks. And so now we're coming upon our 50th release.
Wow.
Yeah, six weeks every, for 6 years it comes to. So the 50th release will actually be an album of, I'm the artist. It's called Preston, Glass, and Chosen Family. So because I have a lot of support with these great vocalists. So it'll be a 12-song album that'll probably be out November 17th. And that'll be our 50th release. So we keep busy.
Wow, you guys really keep busy. I love it.
But to answer your question, you asked, what's the vision, or what's
the overall vision of it?
Well, we want to do music that is true to ourselves. We're not trying to follow any trend.
Right.
Soul music. My partner's company is called Soul Music Records. So anything we do is a kind of a flavor of soul, whether it's jazzy soul, or like we just did a single that came out last week with the lead singer of the Stylistics, the original lead singer, who sang all them hits, Russell Tompkins Jr. And we stayed true to his sound. He has a specific sound, a specific sound of music. And it's getting really good response, because we're not trying to follow, today's 2023.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
Well, and they come from the Tom Bell era, where, he produced all of the stylistic things, and Preston was a protege of Tom Bell. That was the first guy that took him in when he was, 18 years old, and signed him as a writer. And so that was his first start. So he's got that Tom Bell influence in a lot of his music. And Russell just happens to be a dear friend of ours. And so we've got more to come on him. But the first single has just been released. I think he'll be here in a couple of weeks. And
Wow. And the first single is Ready for Anything.
Yeah, you did your homework.
Hey.
You ready for anything?
I'm ready for anything. And you know what? I just spoke recently to Jerry Bell.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I just spoke to him recently. So that's kind of interesting how you guys are bringing him up. Now, what is the process for you? What is the process for you when you're doing songwriting? Is there any particular process?
Well, I'd say yes. And then I like to leave it open to, it's not always 100% the same way, but I'd say 95% I'll start with the song title. because that will spark me. Like if I have a title, well, Gina mentioned that song, "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off." So when I had that title, I was like, okay, well, basically saying we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. We can dance and party and drink some cherry wine. So in other words, that was at a time when safe sex and all that was prominent back in the 80s. And so so I knew what the lyric was going to be about just by the title. And then sometimes the title will also spark the music. Like with a title like that, I said, nah, it ain't going to be a ballad because you're talking about dancing and party. So it's probably
Right.
tempo. Ironically, though, I think it was about 20 years later after the song was released, a lady out of England released it as a ballad, and it was a huge hit. So a good song can be done many different styles.
Many different ways.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'm telling you, whatever process that you have, depending on what song that you write, it's unbelievable because it seems to me that it works.
Oh, thank you.
I think we can all agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can agree with that one.
Yeah,
Now,
and it kind of helps me. You asked the question earlier, do I get writer's block? And I hate to sound formalistic, but because I've kind of followed that thing, well, if I feel like I'm a little stuck, I just go to I have a list of about 7,000 song titles because I just jot them down and go through them, and I'll just pick something, boom. Or I might be doing a project where, oh, so and so needs a duet or whatever, so I look on the list for a title that fits a duet. Then once I have the title, that sparks the vibe of the music. So I'll sit at the piano, start coming up with a melody, and then I'll write the lyrics to the title and the melody. And then after that, I put on a different hat. Oh, here's my head. So it's a little shine. But then I'll go put on a different hat, and that's when the production and the arrangement comes in. Sometimes, especially these days, a lot of producers and artists, they'll get a track and then they'll write to the track. Nothing wrong
right.
with that. But then a lot of times if you want to change the arrangement or the vibe of the music is it's kind of too late. But what I do it the old fashioned way where the song is there, then you can arrange it any way you want.
Way you want.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like painting, like the song is pencil and paper, and then production and arrangement is more of the different colors you can put on the song.
Oh man, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful because I love to write, me personally, and my process is a lot similar. I don't want to be you know, I don't want to feel like I'm stuck that I go one way. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to be able to
What
band and sometimes not follow the rules. A lot of times.
Yeah, that's great. That's always good when you can do something a little different, because then you get people, go, whoa, what is that? That's what you want to do is you want to have a style, but then you want to step outside a little bit because there's so many people. See, back in the day when I came up, you couldn't just release your own song. You had to get a radio to play it, a record deal, and then if you're a songwriter, get an artist to do it. And then it came back to the record deal thing. So there were doors you had to open. Now you can put out your own music. So what that's done though is there's a lot of people out there that are not that good. So they can afford the equipment. Back in the day, you had to spend $250,000 to get a recording studio equipment. Now,
Right.
and $4,000 or $5,000, you got yourself a recording studio, and then you may not have the talent, but you can go to CD Baby or TuneCore or one of these places, put it out, and it goes all over the world. And what that has caused is a lot of mediocre music gets out, kind of gluts the marketplace.
Yeah.
You really have to find a way to stand out to get through all that mess. I listen to a lot of underground stuff. Back in the day, the cream always rose to the top. Top of the charts or top of the live performance or television. Now there's so many platforms and so much music out there. You know, it's hard. I have a lot of friends that say, "Oh, music is terrible these days." That's not true. There's a lot of great music out there, but you gotta dig to find it.
Yeah, you got a mind for it. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
you definitely do. Now, I want to ask you guys this. What is your take on AI?
Well, you're talking to two AI. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew it. It's too good to be true.
I knew it. Your head can't be that clean, man. No, I think it's crazy, but then at the same time, I think it's a sign of where we are in history. I mean, there's so much that can be created.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, you know? I know the other day we were driving somewhere, I saw a robot delivering food, and I'm like,
Man, I'm telling you, it's a different.
People walking right by it like it's normal.
Right.
That's fantastic. You know what? I love you guys, and I thank you guys so much for being on this show. I mean, this is an absolute honor.
And we're coming to Vegas soon, so we would love to meet up with you. My daughter just moved there, so we'll be coming a lot more.
We got to do it, guys. We got to do it. We'll get a nice bite, and maybe we'll go somewhere and hear some really good music. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it to you to show us where to go.
Absolutely. And where's the little furry guy? Is the furry?
He decided to get down.
Yeah.
He's a music guy too. Whenever we leave the house, he has music on that he listens to 24/7.
Oh, that's cute. Now, I want to ask you guys one more thing before we go.
Sure.
Out for any new releases, any new projects that you got, where do the viewers go?
Well, for social media, just look up Preston Glass. There's also Preston Glass Music fan page, and that's for Facebook. For Instagram is me. I'm a P Glass 1012. You always know, so I have a hat on. So another Preston, it ain't me. Gina's got her handle. What's your handle?
Gina McKinney Glass. On both social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
All right, well, there you have it. Preston and Gina Glass. This is music royalty, guys.
Yeah.
On the Margarita Show. Love you guys. Be safe. See you in Vegas really soon. Let's stay in. Oh, and guess what? We also give a shout out to Rhea Roma, because Rhea is the one that connect me with you guys. And oh my goodness, thank you so much, Rhea, as well.
Yeah, that's my girl. We go way back with the Pointer Sisters. Yeah, I see you great.
Oh, you do? Okay. Good to meet you, man. So you're in Vegas too, huh?
Yeah, good to meet you, my brother.
Yeah.
That was quick, huh? Just like that.
Yeah.
We connected.
Telling you, man. Old Sherry Veroni. I call her Veroni Pepperoni. That wild.
Oh man, I'm sure you got stories.
She's funny, man. We just did this song together called I'm a Hick at Heart. It's freaking hilarious. Oh my God.
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh, that's so funny. I think, I've been in this music business for so long, and once you know, it's for me as a solo artist too, because I'm the blues angel.
Right.
I'll probably break with the most ridiculous song, this Hick at Heart, you know. That's
Right?
probably be known for that. You know?
That's how it works, man. That's how it works.
Saying, you know. Okay, so here we go. Let me get this crazy slice thing up so I can promote this properly. Because what you do is when you go on the event, so you've got the slice thing I sent to you, right?
Yeah.
And you go to event, right? And if you put Richie in, you get 20% off the event. Al Joyner just joined up. He's Olympic gold medal.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll be the co-host. We got iHeart there and this whole thing. So, you know,
Yeah.
do is move some. I'm there as a celebrity, so I'm helping move some tickets if we can to some high rollers, you know. But
Absolutely.
it's fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, there's so much excitement in the city.
Yeah, and also a lot of hate trying to get.
I was about to say that.
I'm hearing stories, man. It's not pretty. Talking about pretty. Okay.
They're gonna be throwing tomatoes at the TV screen when we promote that.
Really feel for the people in Vegas, man. I hear like it takes like to get 3 blocks or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of congestion, but you know what? It's such a spectacle. I mean, they'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm telling you, football, just one thing after the next. Just amazing.
I'm telling you, the city is just on fire.
Been there, man.
Huh?
How long you been in Vegas?
About 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah, about 14 years. It feels great.
What's your whole story?
Well, I'm actually a hip hop artist. I've been an artist for a long time now. I don't know what's considered long these days, but I started out in Miami with a multi-platinum producer group called, now they're called Cool and Dre. And they're in the hip hop world, but I've done a lot of songwriting and managed to get some peaks and perks. You know how the game is. It's a roller coaster ride.
Entertainment, baby.
And recently, I just collaborated with Alan Vega's. Rest in peace to Alan Vega, but his wife. We did a collaborative project that should be coming out under BMG real soon. I'm just waiting for that to happen, that was a really cool project because it was
Nice.
punk rock and fusion of hip hop. It was like really cool.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I was, as a drummer, I don't know if you know much about my background, but I played, I started off with Stevie Wonder's guitarist in jazz groups and funk, and I got into, I've done it. I play with everybody. Okay, it's bizarre. But I played with Louis Johnson from Brothers Johnson for 8 years. He was my bro, and he introduced Graham, and I did stuff with Larry and Nathan East and all the top bass players. And do you know Louis and Brothers Johnson? You ever heard
Oh
that?
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Louis was like we went to Hawaii, man. We hung out. We were like bros, man.
Oh, for real?
We were really close. I mean, it's really weird in my career because I played with Keith Emerson and Emerson Lake and Paul. I mean, I do the whole spectrum of jazz to everything, But now I'm Sweet for the last 17 years while I was doing stuff with Toto and all these guys. So, but I have an interesting background. But
You do.
yeah.
And I mean, and you just mentioned with Keith Emerson, aliens of extraordinary ability right there.
Oh, you know about that then? Yeah.
Come on.
We had a good band together, man, with Emerson. So let me still find this whole thing, man. Yeah, it's been. You see, you've done some homework, man. There you go.
I definitely have. And I also know about your first album, Three Wishes, huh?
Yeah.
Released.
Yeah, I'm glad I held on to my stuff because a lot of people they're really bummed out. They let their really good stuff out. Now that the record business has kind of changed and it's starting to where you got enough money for streaming now, a lot of stuff has changed. I'm glad, man. I followed my heart. I'm just going, you know, what I did is I put that stuff out and I sent it out through a lot of different, I sent it out through, so we can carry on with the interview too, Sydney. Yeah, I sent it out to a bunch of, I got a lot of publicity in that. And I mean, I got you know, everybody rated it 5, and it just didn't feel right to put it out. And, you know, at that time I wasn't ready for, you know, anyways, I'm glad.
You got to follow your gut.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
what about Days of Innocence, huh? Tell me about that.
Well, Days of Innocence was, you know, a collection of some of the stuff from Three Wishes, and that's where I got some awards on. And it's just, you know, it comes. I mean, basically being a drummer and then just start developing as a singer songwriter. That's kind of unheard of. And so I just went to singer songwriting, and Days of Innocence just came out fantastic. I love the record, and it's got some really good reviews. But again, it's all.
I love that title too. Wow.
Yeah, Days of Innocence. Yeah, it's about, you know, that song is really it's melancholy. It makes you feel. I was up in Hawaii, and I was with this the woman that I ended up marrying, but she tended to not know how to control herself with alcohol and pills. And I sat overlooking, you know, beautiful place here. I'm in Maui, like on the 10th story, you know, just looking at everything beautiful and having this whack chick in the other room, you know. And I'm going, how did I, you know, and I started thinking back about the Days of Innocence growing up with my guitar and just playing with friends and family and all that. And I wrote that song. That's the title track. Yeah, man.
Wow. You're like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
You don't always get a trophy to get with a trophy woman, you know.
No, you don't. You not at all. Sometimes you want an instant refund.
Yeah. Crash your businesses so they don't get half.
And I guess that leads up to the next release, In the Name of Freedom, once you got it back, right?
Yeah. In the name, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm a rebel. I'm you know, I grew up in a time where, you know, being a liberal was cool. But, you know, you know, in the peace and love days, and where we all were just all, you know, going for that. And now it's like, whoa, it's so I'm into America, you know, I'm into the right kind of America. So that's what In the Name of Freedom's about. Yeah, you know, to really dig deep with, you know, songs for all of us. You know, I believe we're 80% of us is really good, and we all really get along, and we're not divided and conquered. And I think 20% are the bad dudes. And I think about 2% of that 20% are really the evil ones that are controlling the planet. So that's what In the Name of Freedom is all about, is that what my personal spiritual journey has been, you know. And
I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really do. I love that a lot. And so when I look at People for a New America, I mean that seemed like that kind of ties in a little bit. I mean, elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, that coincides to exactly. Music changes the world, and we need to come together as a brotherhood through music. You know, and music. You know, from, you know, that's what my journey is, and a spiritual journey. I think that's why I played, like what I said. I play with all these different folks and all these different bands, from rock to hip hop to, I mean, everything you could imagine. You know, I backed up hip hop, or rap artists. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter, man. It's about the message, how we need to bring music together to change the world. So People for a New America is a vision that I had, that from a spiritual, kind of like a divine download that I had in '89. And so I'm carrying through with an actual, with a nonprofit, with really creating a new America in a new way, where we are a brotherhood, where we can all come together. It's very idealistic, and it's like almost impossible in the world that we live in. But I believe that through music, with the right concert, if we can all come together and start thinking in one vision, where we can start, you know, educating the youth. I, you know, recently did this big thing in Utah with the youth, with a lot of the gals from the older era. And we did this amazing thing. And I got up and, I fell into the drug trap, and I tell these stories through my music, and the kids like open up, and, they're in high school. And I say, don't, you really want to be an artist. You don't want to die young. You want to, so it's about People for a New America is educational, and it's really bringing enough people together. It's kind of gone off, it's got off the ground, and it kind of crashes, and then it goes off the ground, and and I just know it will have its time in existence. It's there.
Right.
It's there. But
that's so fun, because we kind of think alike, because that's how I am too, with like projects or visions that I have. It kind of goes sometimes, but I allow it to just kind of just exist, and even though it might not be in existence, literally, like right now, the world doesn't know about it yet.
Yeah.
I have so much confidence that it will have its time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for articulating, because it's good. It's actually good therapy to talk to somebody that has those similar ideals. You put all this energy, and okay, we're going to do this, and then it goes, or something, or people sabotage your mission, or whatever that is, and you sit there, go, oh man, and then you can get down about it.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody else that goes, hey, everything has its time.
Everything has its time. Now that sounds sweet. Now, speaking of sweet, let's get into sweet. The ballroom blitz. I mean, everybody's going crazy. I mean, how is that? Not only you being a drummer of a legendary, group, multi-platinum group, instrumentalist, which you are, and songwriter, which we just shared, but also co-managing for 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a ride. I mean, I joined the band, and there's a lot of powers that be in that whole thing. And then to get to the point of really, being the, Stevie, my partner in it, he's more logistics. He handles a lot, but it's me is like doing the PR, handling communication with the agents and so forth, because I have that background in sales as well, and running companies. It's been an incredible ride for 17 years, touring with Journey and playing with every band you could imagine. With, and it's just, I know it's a calling. It's been the calling card for me, because it's really has that kind of oomph, but has that matured to the level that needs to be about relaunching and rebranding. And now this year that's what it's about. It's again, you work at these things, and yeah, you've done all these things, but how do you want to break into the major level of and rebrand and create that? And it's happening now. Yeah,
it definitely. And one thing that you have been able to break in is the accessories. When we talk about the music industry, a lot of people don't know that you are one savvy businessman. Can you elaborate a little bit with that, with the Levy? Is it Levi's or Levi's?
It was Levi's, and then I started my own company, Onori International. Now all this, I got away from that and just focused on being an artist. I had a kid. I wanted to get her through college. She got her master's degree and all that, and music business. What's that?
Congratulations!
Thank you. And more. It's funny. My grandkid is going to be playing SoFi Stadium. They've won 9 games in a row. He's 13, and he's playing SoFi this Friday.
What?
How
else?
So I'm pretty proud about that, man.
Yeah, man, come on.
Yeah, man.
Big time.
Yeah. So Onori came about because basically I was in a very big band during the Van Halen days, and we would outdraw Van Halen. And this band should have been the biggest band on the planet, like Rush or one of these things. Well, rock and roll and different things, and lead singers and this and that, and drugs come in. So basically, I kept on working on projects and bands, my persistence to work on. I don't like the idea of the side guy kind of thing. That wasn't my thing. So as I was doing that, I knew that I needed something else to get my daughter through college and all that. So I got involved in the accessory business. And I built this company. I had a rep firm, and I built it up to be this huge thing. And then things got funky with that. So I decided I went to China. I opened up factories, and I created my own line of accessories, which was about 140 different kind of guitar straps and a bunch of cases and stuff. And I did that for about 10 years till it kind of ran its course. And then, ever since in 2016, I let go of that business to focus, because at the same time I was touring with Sweet, doing a million things. I had a recording studio, I had a 4-story house, and and it goes on and on. I think that's the reason they're making a documentary on my life, because that's only the tip of the iceberg for me.
Oh, we got some breaking news. The documentary, huh?
Yeah. There, we've shot B-roll on it, and again, when that comes out, we'll see. We've had one investor come in on it, and but it's going to have its time, because I'll tell you, I got stories to tell. Woo.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you got some stories. So it's not just stories with songwriting with you and Sherry, but you got some other stories to tell as well.
They're scary stories that happened to me in the 80s and 90s, where people, are you kidding? Like national news type stuff, and it's like,
oh,
that's what makes my life story such an interesting little journey I've been on. It's amazing that anybody can be through well, we all go through our hardships and different trials and tribulations in this life, right?
We do. We do. Everybody, let me tell you something. Life is tough, It really is. Life is tough. You just gotta find a way to navigate through it and find your joy in the journey. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While you're going through the journey, you gotta find your joy. And that's so important. And speaking of joy, let's talk about a joyous occasion that's happening in Las Vegas as we speed forward right now. And speed is the word, because we got the Formula One. You guys got, let me see here, Celebrity Podcast VR is going to be a viewing party. Shout out to Crazy Slice Entertainment Group in the house. This is a VIP only Vegas F1 party. This is a viewing party. Like I said, there's going to be models, there's going to be rock stars. We're actually talking to one right now. And man, tell me about this. How do you become a part of this exciting thing?
Well, a friend of mine is kicking off his Crazy Slice thing. So it's really amazing. And how, we started creating this thing and being one of the celebrities. Al Joyner, the great, great Olympian, he'll be the co-host of it, and just all these great folks are coming on board. So it's very limited. It's like in a very limited space up there, but it's on the 14th turn of track. So you can see it. It's going to be at night, so you're going to be seeing that race, and then we'll have the huge video screen, and we'll be all schmoozing together. It's really kind of high rollers kind of an event to be able to get it, just because it's such limited amounts. But if anybody really wants to be hanging with us all, go to Eventbrite on that site. Maybe you're better at knowing how to do it. But iHeart's going to have a booth in there doing a live podcast, and it's going to be one of those events. And there'll be more after this too. But this is a good time to really hang together and watch some race.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So we're gonna make sure that we post the flyer for the audience that is viewing right now, and that is Crazy Slice Entertainment Group in the house. Richie Onori is in the house as well, and it's going to be a viewing party. Formula F1. I mean, anyone that's in Vegas knows about what's going down, unless you're living underneath a rock. It's going to be sensational. You got rock stars, you got celebrities, it's high rollers. You guys are interested, make sure you go to Eventbrite. We will have the advertisement, like I said, on the show. And Richie, you have been absolutely phenomenal. We've done this interview without us even doing the interview.
I know. I thought, okay, when are we going to start? But Second. I think we have. Are you ready now?
We definitely got to collaborate soon, my brother.
No, it's so great to meet you, and yeah, man, you got a great spirit. I look forward to meeting you personally. I'll be in Vegas, and hopefully we can carve out a moment, man, to hang.
Yeah, let's carve. Let's do some carving. Hey, man, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad that you're well. Much love to you and your family, and I'll see you soon, my brother.
Pleasure to meet you, and everybody out there. Have a wonderful weekend and life. Okay, guys.
And shout out to Sherry.
Sherry Verona, she's the best, man.
All right, let's shake the world. See you soon, my brother.
Right on, brother. Take care.
You're starstruck, here's a sprinkle of the stardust. Hold your champagne glass and your cigars up. See the guys with mob ties drive the cars up. Bright lights, most nights they buy the bars up. Candy coated Chevy cars on the highway. It's Frankie baby, it's on and this is my way. Dean Martin at the Sands this Friday. With Sammy Davis, here's a little hint where I stay. The city shines like Liberace's mansion. And you know Elvis had the whole city dancing. Showgirl silhouette steady prancing. Shout out to June, just the Copa Girls anthem. Legal gambling, yeah, that would tempt me. At Sin City, holy water couldn't cleanse me. And Wayne Newton had the crowd in a frenzy. Live at the Stardust, the seats never empty. Now if you having a good time in Las Vegas, at the count of 3, I want to hear you scream, Viva Las Vegas. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Viva Las Vegas! And Main Street was the official local beer stop. Enough slot machine noise to make your ears pop. The cigarette girls walking souvenir shops. While Red Fox had them laughing till the tears drop. Before Steve got a win at the right time, Sig and Roy had a long circus lifeline. Now the Strip's got a lot of neon light signs. Would you agree there's not another city like mine? Years later, Mayweather got the city hot, and everybody in your city with a TV watch. Celine